What's going on, guys? It's Justice here, and I'm making this video due to the call from the RS guy to answer the survey to the whole community. I also wanted to do the same thing. I was going to fill this survey out anyway, but I thought in the process, I'll also record it. So MTX additions such as the Treasure Hunter and other things like the Trialed Battle or Hero Pass they tried to implement and quickly removed, as well as the original major inclusion of the Squeal of Fortune many years ago, has massively tainted the game's reputation over the years and the player's experience. The Treasure Hunter in particular has never been very transparent in terms of what you're getting from it and has a predatory gambling aspect to it. This should absolutely be removed, and it completely deters new players from checking out or staying in the game, evident through many user reviews. What we're going to do is focus on my survey answers. I'm going to pick up on some of the key ones that aren't just basic replies, and I'll just put the most important ones in the video and keep those in, and you'll see what my replies are, and then we'll end the video. This is a call, though, for other people to make sure that you do fill out the survey. Also, just a quick note, it would be great for Jagex to publish the aggregated results, for full transparency, if they're able to do so. I'm unsure on their full privacy policy on whether they're able to. If they're able to, that would be absolutely fantastic to see. So us as players can really gauge kind of what the player base is thinking as a whole. Overall, I am cautiously optimistic, and I will engage with all of this, with all the experiments. The Cosmetic Worlds have just came out, and I've got a video dedicated on that if you want to go and check that out in terms of like first impressions and how that feels to play the game. Overall, this is a really good direction for the game, for the player base, with the change of leadership and with these experiments. And let's hope they don't just stay as experiments and that they turn around some nice middle ground solutions here. Ultimately, I would just like to see them come up with a balanced solution here that the player base agrees with, the majority of the player base agrees with, that it will put the game into a positive direction, but still provides Jagex that revenue stream for shareholders, because that is just the reality of this situation. Is ultimately Jagex is owned by investors, by shareholders who, the majority of those people probably don't care about the player base. They just care about that bottom line. But right now the model they have in place isn't working, even for the shareholders. There isn't sustainable growth right now in the game, and that needs to change. And Mod North, the new CEO, articulated that really well in his presentation to the player base through video content and through articles. And there are questions in the survey about trust, and my trust is very low in terms of Jagex, in terms of exec and shareholders, owners of the company, ultimately, because of the direction and where they've effectively taken the game. The direction that they've taken the game in over the years has constantly been gradually going down. Hopefully now this is the mark and the catalyst that will turn around that trajectory and start, leading the game in a positive direction. But ultimately, I just want the game to feel good to play again, and not have that treasure hunter popping up in my face, to get rid of all the longevity and the business side of things. Just coming at this from a raw player perspective, and logging into the game, I just want to feel good playing it again, right? I just want to feel good, and I want to be able to recommend it to my friends, and I don't want that stuff, those overlays, those gambling systems in this game. Okay, so enough waffling on. If you do enjoy all of those random thoughts, though, do let me know, and I'll continue adding those to my future videos. In general, let's crack on with this survey. And massive disclaimer, obvious stuff. This is my personal subjective opinion. And yeah, just to make that super clear, this is just an opinion. I'm not saying this should be your opinion. I'm just factually sharing my answers of my subjective opinions, okay? That's all I'm doing in this video. And it's to encourage others just to go out and fill the survey as well. The link will be in the description below. So straight away, yes, I have played both versions of the game. I have a fairly okay account on old school RuneScape, but my main account that's been with me for over 20 years and that I always come back to is RuneScape 3. So yeah, for full transparency, from memory, have you used the Treasure Hunter before? Quest and other gameplay earned keys, yes. Free daily logins, yes. And free daily challenge keys. And have you used the marketplace before? I believe I have purchased a double XP bundle before for proteins for rune crafting on a double XP weekend when I came back to the game. So I believe so. I don't believe I've bought any cosmetics. And that's pretty much it. So double XP bundles. And just to make that very clear, that is different than Treasure Hunter. So yeah, I mean, I guess they're just getting additional information here in terms of how you interact with the other avenues, such as Marketplace. I just feel like that is a lot more transparent, and it's kind of linked to how they're doing their current experiment, where you just buy a bundle of prismatic stars or knowledge bombs. To a kind of new to average player, and even I had to go and study, okay, how much experience does a large star actually provide? You know, and then, okay, is that better to use on an AFK skill then versus the knowledge bomb? Probably better being used on buyables or those skills where you earn a significant amount of XP already per hour, and so you're just accelerating that even further. You know, that kind of thought process, you know, I had to apply. I mean, even if it literally just said what the stars transpire to in terms of experience, I don't know if it does. I'm pretty certain it didn't, and I had to do some third-party kind of research on that to see, or just go on RuneScape Wiki, but I might be wrong. So based on what you've experienced, how do you feel about the removal of Treasure Hunter overall? Very positive. Okay, so an optional answer of why I gave this. Overall, the Treasure Hunter has never felt like RuneScape to me. Ever since the Squeal of Fortune was added and now Treasure Hunter, it's completely tainted the game for me. The lack of transparency, the jarring, constant push of countless promotions, and the gambling aspect of this with an outright lack of transparency is disgusting, and I have not been able to recommend the game to any friends due to this. Not having the Treasure Hunter in the game for a week has felt refreshing and has given a new lease of life into the game and the player base around me hearing their opinions. This has been a major factor in me returning actively to the game and the world of Gielinor. It's a shame it's only been for a week. I want it to be permanent. I think there should be a permanent removal of the Treasure Hunter from the game of RuneScape 3. Was there anything you missed from Treasure Hunter whilst it was removed that you think should be brought back in another way? I'm just going to say no. I'm completely disengaged with the Treasure Hunter, and I'm not going to overthink it. My initial reaction is quite simply no. So it's going over the alternative approach that they've tried, which is several new bonus XP stars and knowledge bomb bundles were available. Which of the following were you aware of? I was aware of both. And which of the following have you purchased? I haven't purchased any bundles. So I haven't purchased any bundles. Does that mean that I wouldn't in the future? No, it doesn't. I just don't like letting kind of updates in the game, or I tend to not let FOMO affect me, the fear of missing out. And yes, this was straight transparent XP, which I could convert into, you know, helping me with a skill, and that would help me towards the Master Skiller achievement right now in the game. I've chosen not to engage with it. My whole mindset right now in the game is actually preparing for the Amascut Group boss release and therefore PVM. So I'm not going to let this experiment kind of dictate, you know, whether I participate in it right now out of the fear of missing out. I mean, this one's really difficult because everyone has different circumstances. I think my initial reaction to seeing the bundles is that, you know, ultimately some of the prices were very high, especially if they're available every single day. I don't know, some games probably have unlimited amount. I'm not sure. I don't even know what the legalities, the legal implications of this are, but I felt like my first impression is that the purchase cap was too high, and we should not have been able to we should have been able to purchase fewer bundles. You know, the bundle should not have been available to purchase at all. I mean, that's ultimately like going all the way to the other side of the spectrum. That's obviously something which I would happily choose if that was, you know, a realistic outcome here, but I just cannot see that being a realistic outcome. So I'd rather put an answer that is more lenient. And yeah, I mean, do I care if XP can be bought in the game? I mean, at this point in time, I don't mind. I think my biggest gripe is how they provided those options, which was through the very RNG, non-transparent method, almost gambling method of the Treasure Hunter. I mean, literally, I decided I've completely ignored the games really over the years, and because of this experiment, when it came back, the first day it came back, I was like, oh my god, it felt flipping awful. And I brought it up on the screen and I started to engage with it and was like, okay, how bad is this? And I went in and it quite literally, it was like a genie or something, and it had two options, and you could either choose to take it now. It was like a flipping kids social experiment. It was like, okay, if you take this now, it'll give you this XP, but if you either purchase more keys or keep using your keys, you can select this option. And the next time the genie appears, you'll get double the rewards. And I'm like, how much does that break the immersion of just playing and progressing in the game? Like this horrible, disgusting mini game where there's nothing like that really in the game. Yes, there's some things like invention perks where there's a pretty horrible RNG aspect of that where you have to dump tons of money in order to get a chance of getting the perfect combination. But you know, RNG aspects are in many games, but like this surface where you've got this flipping genie where there's just absolutely no relation to RuneScape assets or like in-game engagement whatsoever. It's just completely disconnected from the rest of the game and it's there right in front of your face to engage with. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The fact that this has been in the game for so long, I mean, it completely taints the game. It makes it feel awful to play. Get rid of it, Jagex. Get rid of it for the sake of your game and the growth of your game. I think on this one, you know, if I'm kind of got a common trend here of like, okay, fine, if XP has to be in the game, then, you know, bonus XP doesn't impact my enjoyment of the game that much. However, knowledge bombs kind of do. I mean, I'd say they significantly impact it just in the aspect of like, you will feel so pressured to make the most out of that additional 50% of the bomb you've just bought. Like, it does add a layer of pressure to your gameplay where you end up rushing through with the activity that you're doing rather than either taking a steady approach or, you know, I know you can log out, but I think you know what I mean, like maximizing every single second you spend logged in whilst that knowledge bomb is active. And I know people play efficiently anyway, but it will detract for me personally in how I engage in the game and making sure that when I activate that, okay, is absolutely everything 100% optimized right now for me to take full advantage of something I've just spent IRL money on. So I think I'm going to say this significantly detracts from the enjoyment of the game for me, actually. I think I'm going to go extreme on this one. Do you prefer having the treasure hunter or bonus XP stars and knowledge bomb bundles in the game? I strongly prefer bonus XP stars and knowledge bomb bundles in the game. I'm not going to play neutral here. I'm going to make it very, very clear that they should get rid of treasure hunter, bring in an intermediary step, and then put us in the right direction. So how do I feel this has impacted my overall game experience? Much better. Like I said, the first day back, this flipping experiment popped up in my face and I had 35 keys because they stacked up as well. I was like, okay, guys, it was just a dream. The nightmare is back. Like, you know, it felt much better, 100%. It felt miles better. If the changes from the experiment were made permanently, how would this impact how often you play RuneScape? I would play a lot more. And yeah, this question came up, which I've already kind of answered before to you guys, is how likely would I recommend playing RuneScape to a friend, you know, if this was a permanent removal? And I would be much more likely to recommend the game. And that is a reason why I'm kind of even saying, hey, like to some mates, it's worth checking out right now. You know, there's a positive trajectory here. Hopefully these things are permanent. So, you know, if you're interested, come and check it out. And that's why a good friend of mine who I met through World of Warcraft has created an account. He's called it Project Fox. And you may have seen a video on my channel referencing that. And it's felt amazing. Like seeing other people checking out the game for the first time. And it would be fantastic. Yeah, I would 100% recommend this game more to other players. I'd 100% recommend this game more to friends if they removed these horrible overlay additions to the game that completely taint how it feels to play. Okay, so perfect. I guess I can take out that bit in the intro. It does say here, would you be happy to share the display name of your RuneScape character? This will only be used to link responses to anonymized account data internally. That's cool. So they'll be able to actually now link it up to player behavior. From a data perspective, as you know, analyzing that, it's gonna be a lot more powerful to actually attune that to player behavior. Okay, so the final question is, what is your current goal while playing if you have one? So I may have gone a bit overboard here with my answer, but the answer is this. Currently, my goals are the Master Skill or Achievement for Completionist Cape, which is a steady, gradual, long-term goal of mine. And I'm currently putting in PVM reps in preparation for the Amascot release, a new group boss, which is about to be released actually on the 4th of August. Ultimately, guys, these experiments and the possible removal of Treasure Hunter has encouraged me to invest further time into the game, and it's informed my decision on boxing off Completionist Cape achievements as well, and engaging with game updates and the community again, which to be honest, I never kind of went away from the community as a whole. I still have like some close friends and everything, but I definitely stopped playing RuneScape as actively as I am right now. Knowing that this game may have a brighter future with sustainable growth is definitely encouraging me to play the game and pay for membership, have the subscription activated, all that stuff. If Jagex provides an alternative solution as a result of these experiments that we largely agree with as a player base, then things are looking up for the future of this game to a point where I'd happily recommend this game to others. And that's the end of the survey, guys. So I'm going to hit done. All right. So let's hope that makes a difference. I'm only one person. Definitely get your opinions heard. Fill out the survey. You know, I kind of went overboard with my replies there, and I'm recording. Ultimately, you know, if you just want to answer the questions very quickly, it'll take about 5 to 10 minutes. If you want to go in a bit more depth and give them more context, then yeah, it may take up to 20 minutes maximum. All right, guys, that's the survey done. Those are my answers. Like I said, this video was primarily just to kind of get it out there more in terms of this survey exists. I'm sure most of you already know it exists, though. And make sure to, you know, use this forum as well if you want. You can comment down your thoughts below. Maybe Jagex will, you know, find this video, read the comments as well, or just talk amongst yourselves. But yeah, definitely hone in through the survey initially. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.